This is Joe Hoy. I'm here with the creators of Saw and the new movie Dead Silence. James Wan and Leigh Whannell. Tell us about your new movie. What is this scary puppet about?
Scary puppets are. We decided to give them their own movie, seeing as Billy was the puppet from Saw was so popular. James and I looked at each other and went, "Well, the real star of Saw was that puppet."
Dead Silence is definitely very heavily influenced by the old British horror films of the 60s, the 60s and 70s. You know, like where it's more about aesthetic. It's more about like a tone and mood. And you know, and those films did have a bit of blood and guts to kind of creep you out, but you know, you kind of use it sparingly. You use it, you know, at just the right point as opposed to just from start to finish. You know? Like a lot of horror, like a lot of today's horror film tends to be.
You know, James spent a long time trying to come up with a look for the main ventriloquist dummy in this film, who's on the poster, and we both just wanted it to be very lifelike, the type of thing that you have to keep looking twice at it to see if it's moved its eyes.
So it looks like it seems that you guys are trying to dip into the subculture of just doll horror films.
Yeah, I mean, I guess this is us kind of getting it out of our system. Ventriloquism to me is something that's just not taken advantage of in horror films much. I myself am very surprised by the limited amount of ventriloquist horror films there are out there. People always mention magic, but James and I are always quick to point out that that's not really a horror film, magic. It's really a drama. Good Lord. You see how creepy this guy is? See, that's creepy. Right now, whoever's watching this interview just got creeped out because there's a ventriloquist dummy.
After Saw, we went out with a doll that was very specifically designed to really
when he says specific, he means made in his room with like ping pong balls and what else was it made out of? Some plaster in there?
Plaster and clay and just cardboard. But this guy, however, because this is a real film, Dead Silence is a real movie, is... Is it really?
Yeah. Sorry.
You know,
not a very good ventriloquist.
Made by a proper special effects company. And one thing we wanted to do, or that I specifically wanted to do, is I didn't want to design.
Hey, come on! Hey, man,
relax.
Hey,
chill, man. Don't get too friendly here. We wanted to create a doll that isn't just straight away outright scary. We wanted it to have like some malevolent quality. Like when you first look at it, you go, "Oh yeah, it's just like, you know, like a nice."
Could almost
doll.
be cute, you know.
Yeah, almost cute, right? But then leave him alone with yourself in a dark room, and you start to think, is that thing malevolent? Is it alive? Is it scary?
But
see, a good ventriloquist is like a magician. It makes you forget.
Yeah, sleight of hand. It's like,
that he's the main artist behind it all. You know, that you step to believe in the character.
And I mean, reading books as research for Dead Silence was interesting because I was reading about, you know, incredible guys who could, you know, drink a glass of water and have the doll talk and stuff like that. So that really inspired us for the character of Mary Shaw in the film, who's the ghost ventriloquist, and all the different abilities she has. And there's one particular flashback scene in the film where you get to see her controlling Billy, and it's awesome.
Ventriloquism is a Latin term for belly speaking. Belly speaking, and
the ability to throw the voice. I mean, there was obviously people who could do this, and before they used dolls, they would often also try and conduct seances. I mean, you're in a room with a bunch of people telling them they're about to contact their dead relatives. If you can throw your voice to the other side of the room, all of a sudden you scare the crap out of these people and you have them convinced you're real.
Yeah, that's right. And the reason why it's called belly speaking is that you're actually talking from your diaphragm, talking from your lungs, from your stomach, supposedly.
Projecting a voice without
not from your mouth, not from your throat. So that's how the term came about.
I wouldn't attempt ventriloquism unless he was in front of my mouth. See, that would be good.
But
it's like, hey, I went to the doctor. He said you're sick. I said I want a second opinion. He said you're ugly. Rest assured, Dead Silence is the movie to see on March 16th.
Especially if you're a hardcore horror fan, or just like horror films.
Or maybe you're just into ventriloquism. Our film is going back to that concept, that ancient concept of scaring people and creeping them out, creating that atmosphere.
Well, it's more definitely like a loving tribute, an old school sort of. It's a loving tribute to those old school horror films, like you said, like the Twilight Zones.
Yeah. And if you want to find out more about it, go to www.deadsilencemovie.net. That's the website for this film.
Well, thank you very much, guys. Thank you, Billy. Thank you, James.
Thank you, Joe. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, it was great. We'll have to do this again. And March 16th, Dead Silence. I'm going to be there. Hope you guys will be too.